Hi and welcome to Ball Masters Football. We're again back with another video. Today we'll be discussing the Premier League Big Six, episode 10. Gosh, episode 10. It's been a while. Not even been a while. It's been quick. I should say in the Premier League so far, and every bit of it's been exciting, unpredictable, and it's been very, very competitive. You don't know what's going to happen from week to week in terms of results. It just goes to show that why the Premier League is the number one league in the world. But a couple of things. Again, apologies on the roundup, the video that we did on Tuesday, the echo, obviously the echo sound on that, so it was quite bad on it. So again, apologies on that. The other thing as well is that we're starting to get a few subscribers, and I just want to say thank you to all the subscribers that we have. I think we have 87, and I appreciate every single one of you guys subscribing, and to the ones that also watch us as well. So I do appreciate the ones that take the time out to show support, hit the like button, and view us each week. So again, thanks for that, love. The first team we're going to discuss again is the best team, top of the table, Arsenal. The start that they've made so far, I think if anyone said to me that Arsenal will be sitting top of the table, with however many points ahead of the rest, I'd be thinking, what the hell are you on about? Opening game Palace, everyone will be thinking, Arsenal gonna, come up short, and we ended up, getting a 2-0 clean sheet, and we seem to be kicking on very well. I know we had a little blip at Manchester United, and that was a blip, but since then we've been coasting it quite comfortably in games. The only thing that I always say is my thinking in the back of my head is, what's going to happen if Jesus gets injured? Who steps in terms of quality? I know Eddie's there, but in terms of, I think we need quality. And then the question is, again, if Partey gets injured again, Lukonga isn't, I wouldn't say he's the answer for Partey. I think maybe El Nani, but again, I don't know how long he's going to be out for. But nonetheless, Arsenal have answered all their critics each time they have risen to the test. I think the only time they didn't, as I said before, is against Manchester United. So I think the next test could be, Leeds away, which again is a tricky game. It's not a easy place to go and get a result. So I'm intrigued to find out how we respond to that one as well. So, there are going to be a lot more tests. I know it's only started the season. I know that's why I'm not even getting carried away. But you have to give credit where credit's due, and Arteta is doing an amazing job at Arsenal, and his backroom staff should get a lot of praise. A lot of players that are playing right now, like Xhaka's, I think even you could arguably even say Martinelli as well. He's been amazing since the start of the season. Saka, I know he had like maybe 2 or 3 games where he started to get back into it again, and he seems to be playing at his best. I would like to see more of Vieira if possible. I think he's a good addition or a different option to Odegaard. I would like to see him more as well. I like to see Marquinhos as well feature a bit more. I know he'll most likely play today because over in Arsenal are playing in the Europa League. So I would like to see more of him in the Premier League, just to see how he fares up against some of the Premier League teams, and how much of an impact he can make and his contribution. The test against Leeds. Again, Leeds at Ellen Road are going to be a difficult team for any team just to go down to Ellen Road and just get 3 points. I know we did it last year, but I think we just need to just take each game as it comes, and I think over the course of the season, everything will take care of itself. So I'm kind of intrigued to find out how Arsenal are going to deal with what Leeds may throw at them, but at the same time, remind ourselves again that, it is another game, and we just got to just be assertive and just dominate the game as we have been doing for the past few weeks, especially against the likes of Tottenham and Liverpool. Our confidence must be through the roof. So, I do see us, seeing off Leeds, but again, we just don't want to just turn up and think, oh yeah, it's only Leeds. So it's just a complacency. So I know Arteta's really got the boys playing well, and I just really want to see them do well against Leeds, because it could be a banana skin if we're not too careful. The other thing is, before we move on to the next team, is the contract renewal of contracts for Martinelli and Saka. I really hope that they obviously get those deals done as early as possible. I know that Saka's, being a academy kid, and being an academy kid, I know he knows what it takes to play for Arsenal and the love he has for Arsenal, and so does Martinelli as well. So I'm intrigued to find out how quickly they can get this deal done. I just hope that there's no stalling and standoffs, because we don't really need that. We just need to get those deals done and then just let the boys concentrate on the pitch, which they're doing very well at. So I just don't want anything to draw any attention or anything negative where there can't be some agreement that can be arranged or agreed. I just wanted to get it done, let the boys play, and let's continue with the season. So ideally, if we can get this thing done, the sooner the better, in all honesty, because they're two young players. I think they're going to be the future of Arsenal, and I think it's in our best interest to get that deal done, because again, you could hear Klopp in the past who's an admirer of Martinelli. And I think there'll be a lot of teams, not only in the top four, but even in Europe, looking at him, especially if he has a great World Cup, and as well Saka, because Saka's a very, very good talent, brilliant talent, young player as well. So I know that there'll be a few clubs, including Liverpool, most likely, that'll be sniffing around as well. So I just, try and get those deals done. Liverpool, I know obviously they had a defeat against Arsenal on Sunday. Again, 7-1 win against Rangers in the Champions League. Going after went a goal down early, I think in the 14th minute, sorry. And I think since that, the equaliser, the game was just, I think it was kind of over after the equaliser from Firmino. Sorry. I think there is something there with Liverpool. There is quality. There's no doubt there's quality. I just don't know whether it's in the Premier League where teams have kind of sussed them, or maybe teams aren't giving them that space. I know Rangers were quite poor defensively in that game, and they kind of let Liverpool run riot. But yeah, I just find that I don't know whether they can't, how or why they're not transferring what they're doing on the their performances in the Champions League into the Premier League. For whatever reason, it seems to just, they would have a win in the Champions League, and then the next Premier League game they will just be so unorganised, and it just seems like it's a different team. So I think in one sense it's kind of good, because obviously at least in the winning games it just kind of gives players like Fabinho confidence in front of goal. Mo Salah again scored a hat trick. I think that was the fastest hat trick in the Champions League, which again is a great achievement for him. I think Fabinho's finding his form as well. Again, I believe that's 8 goals in 11 games so far this season for him. And then I think, again, considering that they let go of, obviously they sold Mane, and then they've bring in Darwin Núñez, Fabinho's just made himself known, like, listen, Klopp, I am still the guy. And fair play to him. He's scoring goals, and he seems to be playing with a lot of confidence. I think even the assist that he played over to Núñez, that little flick, that touch was fantastic, classy, and Núñez finished it off. I think it was to make it 2-1, I believe. But overall, with Liverpool, their biggest test is going to be on is going to be on Sunday, I believe it is, against Man City. And I think, for me, what I hope is that they do us a favour and take some points off City. That's my plan. Is we get 3 points against Leeds, and then Liverpool can do us a favour and win the game against City. So that's the plan. Again, football is unpredictable and it can go either way. It could go horribly wrong where Man City end up winning and Arsenal lose. So let's just hope. Moving on to the next team, Chelsea, who have been going about their business quite quietly and gradually, winning games and doing well. They won 2-0 against AC Milan. Thought Jorginho took his penalty well. He's Jorginho, little hop penalty type thing, what he always does. I thought they were very good on the night. I thought AC Milan were quite limited to what they could do, considering that they were the home team. I thought they would have had the crowd behind them. But I thought Chelsea were quite dominant in the game. I thought Aubameyang took his goal very well. Again, I believe Aubameyang, that is 3 goals in 5 games so far this season, all competitions. I do like, who's starting to do very well, is Mason Mount. I have said in the past that I feel that Chelsea need to try and sign a creative midfielder. And then when I'm thinking about it, you've got Mason Mount, Conor Gallagher, who can be that creative player, and they can score goals as well. I don't know whether Mason Mount's renowned for scoring a lot of goals. I think he's more creative. But I feel that if he needs to add more goals to his game as well, and I think if he can do that, I think he'll be a key player as currently as he is already. I think he will just add more value to Chelsea's push for Champions League football next season. I think he has. I would give it to him. I think since I think a few games in, I think maybe probably the West Ham game where he actually started to improve and started to do well. And he just seems to be gradually getting better and better and better and better. And I think the link up between him, Aubameyang, Sterling, I think that is going to be something that's going to blossom, especially under Graham Potter. I think he's just going to gradually nurture him and get the best out of him. I think that's going to benefit England as well, because I think he will then be in contention of definitely going on the plane to the World Cup. So I just want to hope that he does really well. I think with the performance, obviously I know Reece James is doing very, very well as well. Sterling, obviously I know he hasn't scored in 2 games, I believe it is, I know it was the Palace game and the AC Milan game, but I think he's still contributing off the ball and still working. And I think, again, all it takes for him to start getting on the goals, on the score sheet, as well as Aubameyang, and I think they've got a real good strike force. So let's see how Graham Potter guides the boys up the table. So I'm intrigued to see how they go on. I really, to be honest with you, being an Arsenal fan, I really want to get. I feel quite confident. I did say it to one of my friends this week. I really want to get Chelsea now, and just the way Arsenal are playing at the minute, I wouldn't mind playing them now and just beating them. But again, we just have to wait, bide our time. Chelsea, sorry, not Chelsea, Man City, sorry. Again, they didn't play in the Champions League this week, which again could be a positive with them playing Liverpool this weekend. They should be a little bit more fresher than Liverpool in terms of being able to prepare better for the game. I think the next thing is, I know when Darwin Núñez got signed for Liverpool and Haaland got signed for Man City, I know there was like a versus battle between the two. Now we'll be able to see who's going to turn up on the big occasion, because I said, it's about turning up. And when it's a big game, as I know, as much as the rivalry has been over the past, you could arguably say 3 or 4 years with City and Liverpool, now will be the best one to see who is the dominant. Obviously, as you know, Haaland's ran away with it in terms of Golden Boot, but on the actual day, Nunez could really turn it on. So I know he scored against Arsenal. He scored in the game against Rangers. So he's starting to find his feet a little bit. I know he's been a bit shaky at the start of the season, and he got his red card, and he's kind of playing catch up at the minute. But at the moment, he's finding his form well. So I really think it's going to be a nice little battle between the two, and I'm intrigued to find out who's going to come out on top between the two strikers in that game. In my terms of predictions, I'll give my predictions on the next episode, on the predictions that we followed up after this video. Tottenham, they won 3-2 against Frankfurt in the Champions League. I thought it was a good game. I did see Tottenham being assertive. I know that they've conceded the first goal, which was some sloppy play from Dyer. I don't know what he was thinking about with that mistake. I don't know. It was just ridiculous. And I just think, for me, all these critics were talking about Song and talking about 9 games and not scored and this and that, and look what he's doing now. Sometimes you just got to be patient. Sometimes they're human and they're not robots, and there are going to be periods where there are going to be dips in form where he's not going to be, scoring all the time. And the main thing is so long as he's contributing. If you're not scoring, at least you're doing is contributing. I think as long as he's contributing, that to me is good enough, because eventually the goals will come. As you know, with strikers, it could go up and down. And when you're not scoring, it can put a lot of pressure on the striker, and sometimes it just takes a little while for him to get back on it again. And then once he's on it again, you'll get what you're getting now, which you're getting goals now from him. I thought the second goal was an amazing volley, absolutely amazing. Technique-wise, was perfect. I just think that what you're getting now, again, is just the same old song, but it's just more so a case of just obviously the fans' perspective, just being a little bit patient with him. He's been consistent for many seasons for Tottenham, and I think obviously he is allowed to may have a little blip, and I believe that is for Song. I believe that's 2 goals on the night, but I think in terms of now, he's starting to score a few more goals. I think could be 8 or 7 goals already that he's scored so far this season. So I think there needs to be a little bit more respect on his name. So yeah, I just hope that he just don't turn up against Arsenal when we play him at their place. But nonetheless, he is a top striker, and I think top strikers like that are allowed to have blips, especially when they are consistent, which he has been over the past, since he's been there, you could arguably say. So, just be patient. Again, as I said before, defensively, I thought Tottenham were very, very, very shaky. I know that they got the win, but I just felt that it's an area of concern is just defensively how, I would say more so lackadaisy in defence. Like they were, again, trying to play out from the back, and passes were just getting misplaced, and there weren't really much direction or much cohesion in terms of assertiveness in terms of their passing at the back. I think once it got to midfield into the final third, it was perfect, but I think there was little errors where better teams would have punished them, and I thought again that's how they conceded the first goal. So there are concerns defensively, but Rich Arnoldsson was very good on the night as well. Very impressed with him. Bentancur, I think he done a really good run, which I thought he was a winger at first, and then I realised until the commentator called his name, I didn't realise it was even him. So again, he's doing really well. The other one I wanted to find out, and again, this is a question to Spurs fans, is would you like to see more of Basuma? So obviously, I know obviously he came for a 25 million, and his quality, what he'd done at Brighton, I don't think he's getting the opportunity to do it at Tottenham just yet. But would you like to see more of him? So please do put a comment in the comment section whether you feel that he should be starting or given a chance to start, or do you think that he should just be sat on the bench? So let me know your thoughts on that. Moving on to the next team and the final team, which is Manchester United. Now, I'm a bit confused in terms of where Ten Hag feels that Eriksen is going to be playing, because at this present moment in time, he seems to be playing him in the as a defensive midfielder with Casemiro, or whether it be McTominay. And I just find it a little bit frustrating, because I think to myself, Eriksen, has more value playing in the number 10 role or playing across the midfield three. So I just find it a little bit of a thing where he seems a bit wasted playing defensive midfield, in my opinion anyway. I just feel that he'll be much more assertive, and I think he'd be much more of a problem to the opposition if he was playing in a number 10 role, or more maybe as a winger possibly. But I think he'd be more suited to a number 10 for me. But then I thought about it and I looked at their past games, and obviously again they've got Bruno Fernandes, they've got Rashford, and they've got Antony that they brought in, which now again puts Jadon Sancho now as the person. Obviously he was on form and he was doing well, and then now puts him on the bench. That sets him back as well. So I know he's played in the Europa League, Jadon Sancho, a few times, but and don't get me wrong, Antony has been amazing since he's been at Manchester United. He's been amazing. I think he's going to be a big player for Manchester United. But I just think that for me, whether they try and shift one of those players and maybe try and see if they can fit him in. I think it's more so a case of fitting him in. I don't think they can fit him in to that number 10. I don't think Bruno Fernandes is a defensive midfield player. That's the whole reason why I think they've put Eriksen there. But I feel that Eriksen will add quality in that number 10 role. Would he be better than Bruno Fernandes? I don't know. I think he should be at least given a chance. But again, that would mean then Bruno Fernandes would have to be on the bench. So, or not, obviously, or play out of position. But I just feel that playing Eriksen out of position, I don't think it's going to benefit him. I don't think it's going to benefit the team. So I think they need to try and work something out, whether they play, find a formation that's going to suit everybody, where they can be able to play players in a position where they're going to actually excel. I don't think Eriksen's going to excel as well as he would do, I think, if he has played number 10, in my opinion. Again, they are playing today as well. They're playing at home. The other player who I thought he had a great game against Everton, which was Casemiro of Manchester United. He played very well in that midfield. The only thing what I felt when I watched the game against Everton was that he got caught on the ball a few times. I just felt that where he got caught, and I think it was key areas, especially playing in midfield, as soon as you lose the ball and the turnover happens, and then, they're right in front of your goal near enough, and all it takes is just for 1-2 passes and they're in. And I just felt that I think he could have been at fault for the Iwobi goal. But I think the assist he played to Ronaldo was absolutely class. Absolute class. And that's the trade-off. But I don't know whether he's still getting time to adjust to the Premier League. Again, obviously, when they signed him quite late. So I think he might be still adjusting to the Premier League. And, again, maybe I might be a bit harsh with him. But I feel that for someone that is, especially the price tag that they paid for him, he shouldn't be losing the ball. He shouldn't be losing the ball so easily. It should be just popped off, get it back again, give it out again, and try and thread the ball through, which he did for Ronaldo. And I think that's what he's been brought in for. And obviously, again, intercepting the ball when you haven't got the ball, you're then looking at, intercepting and then being able to, hit on the counter attack. So, he will come good. He will come good. I don't know whether he will feature this evening. I imagine they will play some fringe players, considering it's an easy game. Well, I shouldn't even say easy game, because I think they went 1-0 down early on. But in that game last week. But nonetheless, I think they'll play the fringe players, and then they will look to add a few players. And I think they've got a key game this weekend as well. I think it might be Newcastle. I believe it might be. I might be wrong. Let me just double check. This weekend, I think it is Newcastle. Let me just double check. Yes, it is Newcastle at home at Old Trafford. Yeah. Again, I'll be doing my predictions on that come the next video. So please do stay tuned on that. Don't go anywhere. Just make sure you're watching the next video, which is the predictions. The other thing as well, before I go, again, for the viewers and for our subscribers, again, I really do appreciate, again, the views that we get and the likes and the subscribers. So again, thank you very much to everyone that's supporting the channel. And again, I love making these videos. I know that Kaya and Alfie, I know that they've got obviously studies and so forth, so they aren't able to get to us. So again, when they do, they'll be here in full effect. So yeah, until the next time, take care.